Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, July 27th, 2022. Happy Nicolayoki Day. The last time I was doing a Nicolayoki speaking with you was last Sunday before I was heading up north to visit my son. He was on leave and he went to San Francisco to stay there for a while. So I drove up to see him and his beautiful, wonderful new wife. And I had a great time. I was reluctant to say where I was going, or I was saying, well, if I come back, because every time I go to San Francisco, once you've been falsely arrested 5 times by a city that I call San Fran Nazi land, by the way. I have a love-hate relationship with this city. I just had a feeling that something bad might happen. I don't know why. I do know why. Because only about 4 times in my life, just before a big change or like a betrayal followed by a big change in my life or something like that, I've always, I burned myself by accident, quote unquote. And I did last week, or when was it? Last Friday, right here. It was at work. See, it says, "Don't hate the haters" is my tattoo. But it's right on my arms and on my leg. One time it was with an iron, another time it was with hot soup, and I don't know what that is. It's just I don't do it on purpose. I think it's a subconscious thing, but this time I was lowering some really heavy a box of really heavy furniture, and it was heavier than I thought, and I didn't want it to hit the floor hard. It was slipping through my hands, so I grabbed it really tightly, and it just went anyway, and the corner of the box went right up against my arm, and it's just the corner of the box going down burned my arm a little bit. But it's just, it's fine. It doesn't hurt. I put water or whatever. But it's just funny so when that happened, I thought, uh-oh. I've only done this 4 times in my life. This is the 4th time. And every time it was just before, something. I thought when I went up to San Fran Nazi land that I was going to be arrested. I really did. You never know when there's an arrest warrant out on you up there. And I thought, if they're going to arrest me, now's the time. But I don't care. I said, I really don't care. I want to see my son. And I didn't say anything to my son or anything like that. I just pretended like nothing was going on. I went up there, spent 24 hours in the city, didn't hide, didn't run, was really ready to be arrested. And there was a time that I was down at the Safeway store on Market. I don't know if you guys know San Francisco very well, but it's where, on Market Street, near it's near the U.S. Mint, if you guys know where that is, down in San Francisco. And while I was there was the San Francisco riot police came up and were parked right next to me, about 5 of them. And I thought, okay, this is it. This would be exactly how I would be arrested, is riot police coming and getting me like I'm starting a riot or something. All the arrests have been very political. So, but nothing happened, so that's fine. I just don't know where the other shoe is going to drop now, because I did burn myself, so big change is coming. Maybe it's a positive change, but I am back, and that's why I was saying I hope I'm going to be back, because I thought something bad was going to happen, but I was going to face it. So what I faced was San Francisco, very weak. Nobody's caring about all these hyped up, here comes, okay. So I'm not going to start talking about anything having to do with COVID or VIRUSESs right now, because, YouTube is going to have a fit and block it. So, but it was very encouraging to see that all that stuff's going down the drain. They're losing power like crazy. I wasn't arrested. They're just losing power. So that was good. I was glad I went up there and faced the music one way or the other. And, that was fun. Went up there and had a great time with my son, came down, I'm safe, and all I'm seeing is a crumbling city that's never going to be down for long. It's just a great city. It's just, I'm glad to see that there's a change in that. Now it's they're very weak, and it was kind of sad seeing, still frightened people wearing masks and in the Safeway. It's just sad to see. But it's okay. It's going to be all right, everybody. Everything's going to be okay. So that's that. That's the story. So maybe another change Well, so today's Nicolioki, it's 5 minutes. I don't care. I don't care. I just needed to tell you what's going on. That's fine. I had a great time. But, and I had to tell you about my scar because I think there is still a big change coming. I don't think so, though. Let me just talk a little bit more about what's going on. I'm thinking about, so I was going over, I'm trying to go through the top six Kaliokis of each season to see which ones I could cover or feel like covering today. And today it was Always, immediately. It's called Always by Erasure. It's actually more of a favorite. It's almost like the number one of all time. Well, not really. I think there's others, but I actually pinned it when I was, it's a pinned tweet of mine on one of my accounts, one of my many accounts. The one that just recently, I was just in jail and I just got out of Twitter jail for this account. It's called Nicole Young number 11, which is my lucky number. So I was glad it came back, but it's a pinned tweet on that account that I made when I was in Alabama for a while. My son was stationed in Pensacola for a while, and I went out to Alabama for a while because I thought for sure I was going to be arrested if I came down to California at the time. So if I was anywhere on the West Coast at that time, so I ran over there and worked at Walmart there for a while. But I remember just freezing my rear end off, and this song came on, and it just sounded so nice to jump into the ocean. And and one of the lyrics is, when it's cold outside, am I here in vain? So it's a hot cold thing, and it cracks me up. I was just thinking today, it's so hot, it's going to be so hot today. And when you're hot, you can't imagine being so cold that you hate the cold. Right now, I would love the cold. And then when you're so cold, you're freezing your butt off, you can't imagine being uncomfortably hot. Like, you can't imagine one or the other. I still can't. Even though it's not even that hot right now, but it's going to be hot today in the car. I'm like, oh, I wish I could go back. But I think of the two, I'd rather be too hot, I still can't decide. Right now, I'd rather be too cold. But it was really cold. I don't think I like being cold so much. I remember the coldest night I was there, the coldest night in Alabama, I was in Gulf Shores, that whole year was that night I was in the car. I was working at Walmart, but I was sleeping in the Walmart parking lot in my car. And I'm cuddled up, and I've got the cat, and I could prepare. I know how to do this. I know how to stay warm. But I said, this one's going to be a cold one. So I got ready, and it was like, I don't know, 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, and the police comes by and knocks on the car. And I said, oh, no, that's such bad news. You know, when you are in probation, if you have any contact with police whatsoever, it's a violation of the probation. By the way, parole or probation, and you don't have to do anything wrong, though in this case, sleeping in the car might have been wrong. But so it's so cold. I have to get the cat off me, who was warming me, get out from under all my blankets and everything, and go out my car. And he says, "Oh, this is a very, very cold night," says the police. He was very nice, actually. Gulf Shores, Alabama police. And he says, we're just worried about people not being housed right or being too cold. And I said, well, I work at the Walmart. I start work in another couple of hours. So I think it's okay that I stay here with them. They're okay that I stay here. And he understood, but then at the same time, and then he was more worried about me. And he said, would I like to go somewhere warm? I said, no, I was warm. I was when I was standing there in the cold with seeing my breath. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. And I said, yeah, I will be. Just let me get back in the car. So he did. But that was my interaction with the police. They were very nice, and I remember that night. But then, it's just a hot, cold thing, and it's an ocean thing. And it just also reminded me of a lot of things, because I was by the ocean up in San Francisco. It's funny, when I'm in LA, I was a beach kid growing up in Long Beach. I used to like going to the beach, but I haven't been since I've been down here. And we're not as close to the beach. There in Gulf Shores, I was literally, you could literally walk to the beach. It's less than a mile from where I was walking and working at the Walmart. You could just walk there. It was a very super beach. And same in San Francisco. You're kind of close to the beach there. Like we just walked out on the beach just yesterday, and it was just a great day. My son picked up the cat and carried him all the way down to the Sutro Bass, and he made a big hit down there. Everybody was taking pictures of my cat down on the beach, and he's walking along the beach. It was great. I didn't even think about taking the cat down to the beach, but good thing my son is big and strong. I didn't take any pictures of him carrying the cat. I should have, but it was fun. So 9:41, I don't care. I'm just going to talk until I'm done talking. But so the Always by Erasure, I like talking about the lyrics because it all came full circle, because I'm thinking of the ocean. I'm thinking of growing up in Southern California, everybody thinks it's so warm here. You would think the water would be warm. And on the East Coast, you think that's the East Coast. It's cold. The water would be cold there. When I gave a lecture once at where was it? Somewhere in North Carolina. Anyway, I was at some conference and I rented like we had time off, so I rented a little sailboat and took it out in the water, and you capsize it on purpose for fun. And I was doing that, and I jumped into the water, and it was so warm. People don't understand. Pacific Coast, when you're a surfer, you're freezing to death. It's really cold. Not freezing to death, but it's cold water out here growing up, just going in the water. And over there in North Carolina, it was really, really warm water. I think it comes up from the Gulf shores. It's very, well, at least I know the Gulf of Mexico is warm, but what you don't understand is on the East Coast toward the south is also pretty warm. I was just surprised. So warm and cold. So this thing says dive into the ocean. I was just thinking about this song because one of the lyrics was, well, it talks about cold and warm, and it talks about diving into the ocean. So all this stuff came to light today. It's a perfect song for today. So that's it. Oh, another thing was we're going to do some more water metaphors or ocean metaphors. Is I was just, I was fighting legally a lot, and it's fun. It's my hobby, and I'm wondering, and maybe people are wondering why I just kind of gave up on some things. Like a lot of the rulings from the courts have been really wrong, like totally wrong, and I appeal, but I just give up because they want me to pay all this money every time I appeal. So I appeal the right to not have to even pay money. I'm living in my car. I want to get this stuff, and they say, oh no, you have to pay $400 every time you file something, and it's just a racket is what it is. And I haven't given up, but I just have a feeling that, so the metaphor is, hey, coming up, cat? What you doing? Are you getting hot down there? He knows where to go. He goes down. I love this little halo. The light makes it look like I have a halo. So, just keep talking. Who cares? So there's a metaphor having to do with this song. It's very, very short. I'm just going on and on. But it has to do with what I'm doing right now. And maybe it's my big change, but I don't think one's coming on. The big change is I've just decided I do want to write a novel and not a screenplay or anything like that. A screenplay or a movie series. Because I was just so upset with Downton Abbey. I've been binge watching it, and last night finally it just jumped the shark, and I just get so upset because there were some really good writers who knew this was a bad path that they took in the show, and there's nothing you could do about it. When you're doing screenplays, it's so collaborative. There's nothing you could do. They just had to watch all their work go down the drain in one episode, in 1 minute of one episode. And they knew, and I know you could tell that, like, I could see the fighting going on, and I just said, forget it. I thought it would be fun to collaborate with others. One of the reasons I left trucking was and I love it, work at Target, where I have a work family, like a real work family, and I do, and I love that. But to have a creative family, I'm going to just stick with, if I do write something, it's going to be a novel, because you don't have to sell it. Like, I just want to write something and have 1,000% control over anything, and then you take it or leave it. I don't want to sell. I have a job. I'm at Target. I'm fine. I'm living my best life, but I just want to be able to have 1,000% control over the creative stuff and not have some commercial, political, whatever come in and change your work like that. It was horrible. So that may be the big change that's coming up, but I don't think it is. I don't know what the burn is about. I don't know what I'm doing. When I do that subconsciously, there's a bigger change coming than that. But the other thing is, well, there's also a big change coming that's been coming a long time with my writings and political. And people say, well, why did you, quote unquote, give up? And I'm not giving up. It's like this. This is the ocean metaphor. When you go surfing sometimes and you really love it and you're desperate, like the best time for me always was right at low tide or just before low tide. The waves are perfectly formed, at least in so the spots I would go surfing down in Southern California. Or I'm in Southern California now. I'm not down. I'm there now. I always say down because I lived so long in Northern California. But the spots you go to is just and it might be universal, but low tide is the best time. You have the best shape waves and everything. But if you're desperate and you love surfing, you will go out and you will fight it. You can't change the tide, so don't try. Don't try to change when the tide comes in. And you can't stop the waves from coming upon the shore. All you could do is wait to ride the best waves but if you're desperate, you can go out and you could fight it and ride a wave for 2 seconds, and it's a horrible wave, and fight it, but you love it so much that you don't mind and you will do it. But that's like me right now. I'm just waiting for the right time because I love the changes that are coming, and I know the tide is changing, and I'm just waiting for it to be the right time to go back to the law fighting and stuff like that, and do the appeals and fight legally and things like that. When it's going to be, it is still fun. Like, I do have fun doing the legal stuff, but not right now. I'd rather maybe go either just watch a bunch of TV series. I just want to do whatever I want. You get a certain age and you say, and then when the time comes, it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. I will ride those waves in, but it's going to be at low tide. And I'm not going to try to change the tide. And people don't understand that. It's like, why did you just give up? Why did you stop this appeal and that appeal when you were in the right? It's because the court system is completely corrupt, and it's going to take a while. And it's nothing I can do right now. It's like telling me to change the tide, and I can't. I just have to wait, and it will come. It will come, and then I'll start riding the waves again. It's going to be really fun when it goes. You could ride a nice wave all the way in, and it's going to be great. And you don't have to fight anything. You don't have to fight the water. You don't have to fight the tide. You don't have to fight anything. Just ride a nice wave all the way in, and that's going to happen soon. I can almost feel it, but not yet. Right now, I just want to sit and watch a bunch of TV series and think about maybe writing a novel. It's fun thinking about it, and that's what. So that's the ocean metaphor for what I'm doing right now. When I say I'm living my best life, is because I know the tide is going to change, and I know the good waves are coming, and I'm going to be able to ride them all the way into shore, and just waiting for the right time for that. But I could see little inklings of that happening right now. Like I filed a bunch of stuff, anti-mask stuff and anti-vaccine things with LA County. I sued LA County for that stuff, and it was a really good lawsuit. But of course, I don't even think they took service of process and they rejected it. Like, how could a government entity reject? They said I had to pay somebody to do something. I just emailed it to them and said, would you accept this as service of process? And they said, no, it has to be, you have to pay like hundreds of dollars. You have to pay a sheriff to do this and do that and do this proper. And it's just like, that's on top of the court costs and everything. I just said, forget it. I have all that. But it's like, what? That's totally corrupt court system. It's like Target. I've already done this. It's like Target or any department store saying, no, you can't complain about anything to us. You have to pay. You have to pay to complain to us. Like, so, I mean, people don't see how, I mean, that's fine. I understand why most people don't see what's really going on and what's wrong, but that's okay. Focus on your family and things are going to come. But I did, anyway, they still received it, and I did serve all the county board members. I think there were 7 of them or 6 separately by separate emails. And now today they were trying to reinforce the mask mandate, and one of the LA County board members came out and said, no, there's no evidence that she saw that masks improve one way or the other, whether you get COVID or not. Oh, shit, I mentioned it. All right. Okay, well, let's see. It'll be interesting to see if YouTube deletes this because I mentioned COVID. Bunch of assholes at YouTube. Assholes. Okay, I shouldn't swear. Okay, maybe I'll redo this. No, I'm not going to. I don't care. I'm not going to stick my finger up at him either. Okay, so I try to make it so I never swear on these. Okay, so let's just do always and get on with it. But I love this always because it's just, even then when I was freezing my butt off in Alabama, I was still living my best life. And that's why it's a pinned tweet. And that's why it came full circle, and I just love it. And I hope it has something to do with the scar and the changes coming, because it's not. Oh, it feels like it's going to be a bad change. Like, for instance, I thought the scar meant I was going to be arrested, which most people would think that's a bad change in your life. But in this case, I just don't argue with the dead people because, 2011 is 11 is my lucky number, and I spent most of 2011 in jail, and it turns out that might have been what had to be done, and it might have been the best thing that happened to me in my struggle for bringing about world peace. Okay, always by Erasure. So I'm done talking. It's 20 minutes. I don't care. It might all be taken down by YouTube because I mentioned COVID. But anyway, but it was nice to see in today's news, let me just go on with it, that LA County is trying to enforce another mask mandate all over again, and one LA County supervisor at least. And they're backtracking, and I believe it's because it's just very unpopular, but they're trying to backtrack. And they're trying to say, oh, it's because the cases are declining now all of a sudden. They always say inclining when they think they can get away with something, and then declining. And now we're going to get taken down for sure. They say cases are inclining when they want to try to push some fascist law. And then when it gets super duper horrible pushback as they are now, they'll say, oh, the cases are declining, so we're not going to enforce. That's how they do it. It's just so dumb. But anyway, so I was glad. I felt like, what harm, by the way, people out there, what harm in letting me, sitting in my car, living in my car almost 2 years now, what harm in letting me believe I had some part, because I did serve this person an anti-mask, anti-all of it lawsuit. I served it on them, even though they don't recognize it as service. But they received it. And if they read it, they have to know. They have to know, and maybe in some small way, when they read this, they realized that enforcing mask mandates was not the way to go. So maybe I would love to take credit for possibly stopping a new mask mandate being enforced in LA County, though I think a lot of it has to do with most of the people giving it big pushback, like, we're done. Nobody's buying any of the smallpox stuff that's coming out, or monkeypox, and all this fear-mongering going on. All right, so we're done. All right. Always by Erasure. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. I see. Your eyes are open. Wear no disguise for me. Come into the open when it's cold outside. Am I here in vain? Hold on to the night, there will be no shame. Always I wanna be with you and make believe with you and live in harmony, harmony, oh love. Melting the ice for me, jump into the ocean, hold back the tide, I see your love in motion. Always I wanna be with you and make believe with you and live in harmony, harmony, oh love. Always I wanna be with you and make believe with you and live in harmony, harmony, oh love. The end. I hear some dogs barking, but I don't think anybody came up and doo-dooed by the car this time. Anyway, it's getting hot in here. I'm starting to sweat. I'm gonna go buy a big old. I have a way of cooling the cat and myself here. I'm gonna go buy a big chunk of ice from the Vons, and we're gonna be fine. And a carrot cake cupcake, because now I'm addicted. Thank you, Kelly Clarkson and Anne Hathaway. I knew it. As soon as I tried it that one time. That I think it was last week. I tried the cupcake. All right, that's enough. We're done. I tried the cupcake hack where you take the lid off, and since then I just tried it innocently, right? And since then I've just been eating almost a cupcake a day. So I'm addicted. You made me slip. My bad habits, girl. Okay, it's all right. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna living my best life. Everything's gonna be okay, everybody. 24 minutes. This is a record, but 24 is a lucky number. So, all right. We will talk to you later. I'll see you in the midweek Nicolioki on Sunday. Bye. Be safe and be okay, everybody. Bye.